Ooh, ward up, ladies and gentlemen. Late Night Live number 51 coming at you. What's going on, Oja Swinny? What up, Jose? What up, Monica? Welcome. Glad you're finally able to catch a live. Right on. Whew. So I've been out of town for the past 4 days, working backstage, long days at an event. So I haven't written in like a week-ish. So we'll see how tonight goes. I'm also a little on the tired side. Not tired, worn out. It's a long week. So today's chill vibes. What up, Ashok? Hello, Marilyn. Yeah, I've never done one of these polls before, so we're gonna see how it goes. So far, we got walnuts. Walnuts are winning. I'm trying a new setup today. I'm watching the stream in a different window than I normally do. What up, Jay? I'm quite well, thank you for asking, Ashok. I also, I did some research, for those of you who were here when we were talking about the Dizzy Bunny in last week's stream. I found out why it exists, and I mean, I set it up. I just didn't know it would happen all the time, and I didn't know it was actually working. And it even works, like when I do Zoom calls and stuff, anytime I use this camera setup, and somebody subscribes to me on YouTube, the Dizzy Bunny does its thing. And I want to give a shout out. I don't know if she's in the chat right now, but Carrie Choi subscribed to my YouTube channel about 5 minutes before the stream went live. No, not 5 minutes. 29 minutes ago. And I was just setting up the live and the fuzzy bunny showed up. I wasn't live at all, but in the program, the fuzzy bunny was stumbling on my screen, so it's kind of funny. But it officially works. All right. Excited. I'm gonna have a sip of tea. Sounds good, Arvind. That's the thing. Everybody likes the fuzzy bunny. I changed the sound that the fuzzy bunny makes. I actually went with a new service. I was using a website called what was it called? Streamlabs to do the other one, and I decided I didn't want to use Streamlabs, and I transitioned over to one called Stream Elements. That I like their dashboard and whatnot better. Dizzy Bunny. Did I say Fuzzy Bunny? It's Dizzy Bunny. I mean, he's fuzzy too, but he's dizzy. It is so bright outside. It's weird setting up my cameras for the stream now. Well, what just happened? Wait a minute, I heard a sound like somebody subscribed, but I didn't see the Dizzy Bunny. Curious. I heard a sound though. I heard the old Dizzy Bunny sound. Oh. Well, we'll see. I didn't get a notification that you subscribed, Marilyn. Maybe there's a delay. I heard a sound though, which is weird because I shut down the other one. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. There it is again. There's that. So now I'm very confused. Because the wrong one is making sounds. I'm curious now. I should be just streaming, but oh well, doesn't matter. So maybe the Dizzy Bunny doesn't work? What happened? I thought I had it set up all good. What's going on with our vote here? Oh, Walnut with the alarm. Well, not alarming, but Walnut with the win so far, 56%. All right, well, we'll at least get warmed up in Walnut. There's definitely a delay in the bunny. What's curious though is the system I was using last week is currently shut down. But when I heard two sounds from that system, and I genuinely don't know where they're coming from because I can see them in my stream and they're like muted. They're not. But the other ones aren't muted, but there's no but I haven't heard the things yet. So something's not working quite right. But that's okay. Maybe they'll come in later. But it's been a while now. What up, Jesse? Well, thank you for subscribing on your other account and testing that, Marilyn. That's really weird, because it legitimately worked when Carrie subscribed 30 minutes ago when I wasn't even live. So that's confusing. Oh well, doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Dizzy Bunny. So there's just a really long delay. It just takes quite a while. Oh, that's funny. The Dizzy Bunny with a new sound effect. Yeah, that delay is really long. I wonder why it's so long. Yeah, it's the Baymax sound from Big Hero 6. Get you guys a little bit closer here. That used to be my cell phone like text notification years ago, and every time it went off, somebody, taxi drivers, friends that were around me, all the time, would ask. It's because it sounds like somebody said something. So it's like, what was that? Or what? I didn't understand that. People think that I say something when that sound used to go off in my pocket all the time. Yeah, it's Spinda. Spinda the Pokemon. I mean, I know that it's Spinda now, but I've decided that for my stream purposes, I'm going to dub it Dizzy Bunny here. I like Dizzy Bunny. I am curious why the delay is so long. It really shouldn't be that long, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with the system, so maybe that's necessary. Crooked sheet. I don't really know what to write tonight. I feel like I'm just gonna sort of do what we did last week and just randomly write some stuff, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get a theme or some cool ideas, or somebody will ask a cool question. Oh, so it's like it's like fingerprints. Each Dizzy Bunny is unique. I like that. Dizzy Fuzzy Bunny. Still in warm-up mode, but we'll write Dizzy Fuzzy Bunny. Oof. My arm is shaky today. What up, John? Welcome. Hey, Jagrudy. Oh, thanks, Ashok. You mean these ones? That don't have the standard ascender loop? It will be nice. I mean, my ascender loops, the ending ascenders weren't very nicely executed. Where's Fozzie? Probably being a mom. Fozzie's busy these days. Oof. Yeah, my arm definitely feels like it hasn't, written in a week. Maybe my chair's a little too low. Don't know. Hey, Tony. Oh, that's fun, Tony. You'll enjoy that, and yes, you most definitely should bring a bow tie. That's mandatory. Spencer coin. I actually, in the stream elements that I made the fuzzy bunny, the dizzy bunny notification, they have a system where you can have like loyalty tokens type of a thing, and I registered the name Spencer Coins for my stream, but you have to have an upgraded account to really do anything with them, so we can't do anything with Spencer Coins, but they do exist in the background of this stream. Lurking mode is fine. That is okay. With my new setup that I'm trying today, I can't see even how many people are in on the stream anymore. So I have no idea how many people are here, which is totally fine because that shouldn't matter. Oh wait, you wouldn't do the tick and that. That was a mistake. You have a question? All right, John, let's hear your question. I may have an answer, but I may not. Oh, how can you tell if a nib is worn out? So, the only like trick that I was ever taught, and I will first say it's not a trick that I use, but what I was taught, that some people would do, is using just the texture of your fingernail. If you were to take a pen or a nib and go pull it down your fingernail, if you try to do like an upstroke, upside down, with an upside down pen on your, was it upside down? Yeah, they go upside down and they'd go up the finger. And if they were able to do that without getting, without it stabbing or sticking into their skin, then it was still good. But if it started to dig in, then it was not so good. But that's not a system that I have ever used, but I have heard people using that as a gauge. For me, I've always, when the hairlines start getting poor, I guess it depends a lot on, you have to have a good eye and a good gauge for your own, what your writing looks like with a new nib. So when you write and you're using a new nib, you know that that's what it looks like. And then when you are no longer allowed or able to achieve that hairline or those ovals because you're getting a lot of snaps or something like that, there could be a misalignment, which a misalignment doesn't always mean that your nib is bad. A lot of times if we apply too much weight on an upstroke or something like that, you'll get a nib snap, and when the nibs come out of it, one of them can be misaligned. One will be a little bit lower than the other one. That can be tweaked back center. But as the tip of your nib starts to wear out, usually the tip will get sometimes like too sharp, or depending on how the ink sort of eats away at the tip, it'll get too sharp. So you'll have a good hairline, but it feels sharp. So your nib is going to start digging into the page, no matter if the points are properly aligned or not. So for me, it's just really gauging, first gauging what the hairline looks like compared to what the hairline should look like when I use a new nib. And that's different for every person, because I might write with a lighter hand than somebody else. So our natural hairlines are going to be slightly different. So I know when my work starts to not look like my work should, there's something up with my nib. So then I check it. If the tines are misaligned, I will realign the tines with my fingers and then use it. If the point has gotten like sharp or eaten away and it's grabbing and nib snapping because of that, that's when I would do like nib smoothing. And then if I've worn out the tip, because it also depends on the paper you use and stuff, if my tip is then worn out just because I've been using it with walnut for a really long time, then I would potentially sharpen it. But the refining the tip and sharpening the tip, those are, I would say for most people, that's when you throw it out. When aligning the tines doesn't give you a good hairline and it doesn't improve the feel of using the nib, then it's time for that nib to go. Unless you want to learn and get into refining nib points and sharpening and all that kind of stuff, which understandably most people probably do not. There are many times when I don't feel like doing it and the nibs, they're gone. That's why I use modern nibs, because they are disposable and I dispose of them when I'm done with them. Also, if you're using a lot of iron gall ink, a lot of times when you get a nib snap, the tines will be misaligned and you can realign them again, but the metal has been fatigued or has been eaten away by the iron gall ink, depending on the inks. So the metal itself, it's not going to hold that nice point. Like every small little nib catch is going to throw the tines out of alignment. So then it just becomes sort of cost versus reward. It's too much work to fix it every time, so you just throw it away and grab a new one. Alright, very long-winded answer to your question. But at the end of the day, it's basically, it comes down to the look of the hairline for me, and then whether you want to fix it or get a new nib. Monica, I have a video. I don't have a YouTube video on it, but I have an IGTV video on it. On how I smooth and sharpen my nibs. I'm planning to make a YouTube one. I just haven't had time to make all of the YouTube videos that I am planning to make. They're coming. They're not even up here. They're written down. I just have to actually record them. What's going on, James? What is our votes at? Walnut is still winning with 45%, 23% for white, and 32% for gold. Wow, white. Nobody likes white ink these days, James. Mr. Lurker James. Maybe I should dub James Lurker James from now on. Dab Lurker James. I'm pretty sure back in the day, like the master penmen of old, they didn't sharpen or refine nibs. That wasn't a thing. They didn't, if they got a nib snap and the tines were aligned, they probably just chucked it out and grabbed a new one, because their nibs were like a cent. They would buy a box of 144 of them for a few bucks, and they were just garbage. That's how they used them. As soon as they weren't exactly perfectly optimal, out the window. That's true, James. There's bound to be some out there. There's always more viewers than there are people chatting, and I'm fine with that. I know some of my real life friends who aren't in the calligraphy penmanship world who tune in sometimes just to hang out, just to chat or to chill and watch, and they don't chat because they feel, I don't know, uncomfortable because they don't understand the pen world. I always tell them to, but they don't always do. So I'll say it right now. If you're in the chat right now and you are not a penman or a calligrapher, if you're one of my dance friends or one of my real life friends, say hi. Let us know you're here. Whoops. Oh, nobody came out to say hi. John, I would get, if your nib is snapping a whole lot and you can't fix it, get another nib. It's another reason why, when it comes to like Leonard Principles, Hunt 101s, or Jalot 303s, if one of the nibs you're using is one of those, buy them in bulk. The only nibs that I buy like 1 or 2 at a time are broad pen nibs. When I buy pointed pen, it's at least 100, usually a few hundred at a time, so I don't have to deal with it. And then if you use walnut ink and they last a long time, you have nibs forever. And if you use stronger ink, or if you're using paper that happens to wear out the tips of your nibs, you have a lot that you can go through. A nib should never be like something that you're running out of. You should always have plenty on hand. It's like ingredients for a chef. Gotta have ingredients. You can't just run out of flour. Yeah, and you can check out my IGTV video. I've changed up, I've simplified my my technique a little bit since then. I think I went over it quickly in a YouTube live once, really quickly. I can't remember. Send you some of my good batch 303s? Never. Absolutely not. Never. Just a dozen? No, I don't have that many left. I'm not gonna send you a dozen. I can't. I don't even use those nibs anymore because I'm gonna run out of them. Honestly, I mean, this is a straight out, right? Lately, I've been just using a straight out of the box Leonard principle. No sharpening, no tuning, no nothing. The one I used before this, I tuned a lot. And then I used iron gall and I absolutely murdered it. I basically melted it. I didn't melt it, but the metal in the tines got very fragile after a while. So then I grabbed this one out and yeah, but this one, I didn't feel like taking the time to sharpen it anymore. I figured the hairlines were nice enough. The difference between a good hairline and a really, really good hairline is hardly even noticeable. Yeah, James, I feel you there. I do that as well. I don't usually, when I throw away nibs, they usually live in the nib tin that's on my desk for quite a while. And I also have Ziploc bags of my old nibs. The only time I've ever actually thrown them in the garbage is when the tines break off. Who was it? A long time ago, somebody had made a suggestion or just a statement that like nibs that work really well and then wear out for like iron gall ink, or if the hairline isn't quite as good, often do a fine job for like either slower pointed pen stuff or work with thicker inks, where you, like with a lot of thicker inks like gold inks and stuff, you can't get crazy fine hairlines because the ink is thicker. So if your nib doesn't give you crazy fine hairlines, you can use a slightly worn out nib for that purpose. Aravind is threatening to rob me now? Don't rob my ink drawer. Oh, Hody in the house. What's going on, Hody? Oh, John, that's no fun. You gotta find a store that has a whole bunch and just buy all of them at once. And then you'll never run out. I honestly, well, that was way too long of a tale. Oops. I honestly can't remember the last time I bought a pointed pen nib. Aside from, I buy vintage nibs. When I see them pop up for a good deal somewhere, I'll pick them up. Rarely, because they're usually not a good deal. I am frugal, so I only buy them when they cost what they should cost. I don't buy them when they cost what people try to sell them for. Butter John? What are you talking about? Howdy. Who's Butter John? Yeah, Peter's not here. That's Coffee Lover. He's not here today. Not yet, anyways. Oh, J. Oh. This could transition to go horizontal and finish in there. Would that look weird? You know what would be cool? That's an infinity J right there. I don't know if I can do that, and where would I start? Oh man. Huh. Interesting. What up, Ishmael? How's it going, man? That was a fun J last week. Alright, I want to try this. See if I can nail it. If I can get an infinity J. This will be really cool. I'm not sure I can nail the ending though, because there's no hard point, hard stops in a J. I mean, that's pretty darn close. It's not perfect. There's potential there, ladies and gentlemen, to hit an infinity J. All my ovals are crazy wonky though, but that's kind of neat. I mean, you could make a simple one as well, but it's not as fun to do a simple one. What would a simple one look like? Something like this. And then that would go up and meet there. I don't like that as much though. There needs to be weight down here for it to work. Oh, that's a fun fact, John. Yeah, I know there's a lot of, like in codes and stuff, in codes and ciphers, J's aren't usually a part of them. The J is interchangeable with the I believe. I think. Just like the W is interchangeable with the V in some of them. If I'm remembering correctly. I might not be remembering that correctly. What up, Benny? How's it going? Haha, no bow tie today. I dressed fancy last week because it was the 50th stream. But I only really wear a button up and a bow tie. I wear those when I teach classes. And I've been wearing one all week when I was backstage. I wore a button up every day and a bow tie for 3 of the 4 days I was gone. But no, we're chilling today. It's a t-shirt day. I'm out if you get that infinity. You talking this one? The little infinity symbol in there? Let me try again. Infinity names are the best. Infinity everything, they're fun. The very first infinity letter that I ever not saw but was ever like sent to me was oh shoot. Who sent it to me? I can remember the letter. Who sent it to me? I can't remember who sent it to me now. It'll come to me during the stream. But it was a Y. It was, how did it go? It was just a standard Y. Like that. Just an infinity Y. Nice and easy. And then my brain took that and just went crazy creating infinity letters. Ah, that's a fun one, James. Where's that one? See, my brain isn't good enough to remember where all the signatures are in old books and in the old magazines. I remember seeing things, but could I find it right now? No. Like, Momed's pretty good at that. Many people are better at that than I am. Which is great, because a lot of people on the Discord, if you mention vintage something, usually people can pull it up. I'm not one of those people. I have it on my computer somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I messed up. I did the wrong thing. I didn't come through here, so I had to improvise, and I broke one of my own design rules. Well, with this, because this is a mess up. I made a line, compound curve twice. No good. Don't do it. It never looks good. Yeah, he's good with that stuff. Marcus Carlini. Marcus is the one that sent me that Y. He did it originally with no shades. Yeah, he was the first person. He kind of, if my memory is serving me correctly, he was the first person to sort of light the fire about infinity letters and infinity things to me. And then I took it and ran with it and started doing infinity everything. I need to do more. I always say that and I never do. I want to try this J one more time. We gotta make this one a little bigger so we can fit the oval inside. We gotta remember to do that. No, it's supposed to be a loop. Ah. Such a awkward shape. Darn it. Because we all know, you've seen me do it a billion times. That's how I finish a J, always. I mean, that's my go-to. This is a perfect example. You guys have also heard me talk about it many times, about letting habits take over. I habitually make this, and that's no good. It's good to make this, but only when it's by choice. That was a fun video. I had a lot of fun doing that. What was that name that I did for that? Was it Jessica? I can't remember. Some of those infinity names were pretty intense. I gotta make another series of those. Maybe I'll post an Instagram story to get people to submit some names to do infinity videos for. I can't really do them all. I can play on stream, but I can't hit the videos on stream all that well. They're just too challenging. They take too many. I mean, they take a lot of tries. There is, unfortunately, a bit of luck involved. Nope. Infinity H? I mean, you could. It wouldn't be probably a go-to H. But you could do something like, off the top of my head, without thinking about it too much. I mean, and then you get the right curvature so these work together. And what you would do, the smart way to do that would actually be to start here. I think anyways, to start here, because that's your hard point. That's what makes the J so hard. There's nowhere to hide the connection. Like when I did it the very first time, it happens to be right on that hairline, so it hides it, which is good. Similar to how CP Zaner hides or tries sometimes to hide the break in his signature. When he does his C, and then he does his P is here, and then when he does the C does end there, but at this point is where he creates this line that's supposed to be just a nice curved line, and he goes I'm out of frame, sorry, but I totally missed the P completely. And then this one comes up here to create the Z. So he hides that point in there with that crossing. But that's because that hairline is there before he starts. We don't have that luxury with the J, unfortunately. I don't know where they are. Marcus hasn't been on a stream in a long time. I think we did T'Challa. I remember doing T'Challa. I don't think we did T'Challa Infinity because with T'Challa, I turned the flourish into his necklace. I don't know if it ended up being Infinity though. I remember doing the flourish as his necklace. Yeah, the stem and the P is... So now... it's a pretty big mess up. I totally missed. This should obviously go here. I wasn't paying enough attention. But yeah, in Infinity H, I feel like I would start at that hard point. Yeah, and then I would do something like this. I think would be an easier hit. And come to there. So then you get the curve stroke is smooth. My entry oval is wackadoodle, but that's how you would do that style of Infinity H. That's like the M, certain letters like the M and things like that are quite difficult. You can do them, but they're kind of weird. Can you do... I'm going to try Infinity M that just popped in my mind that I've never tried before. We're going to see if it works. It might not. Not a conventional infinity letter. Oh, see, if this was farther over, then that connect to that. That looks ugly though. I would want that ending point to look a little more like... And then coming up from there would be cool, but that's what makes it an unconventional letter, because that's not something you'd see all the time. But then like Mataraz, you could make one of his, it's not his variation, but one that he used a lot of the times when he did this variation of the M. That would be easier to make infinity with something, because you don't have anything with a stem, with a capital stem is tough, because to get the proper shape of the capital stem, you have to go shut and lift. So you don't have that flowing line. So even this, I lifted, dropped down and went. So the line continues, but it wasn't written as an infinity. It's designed to be infinity-ish, but it's kind of cheating. My goal is to one day make an entire infinity alphabet. The problem is that just some of the letter forms, they don't match. Like what you have to do to make some letters be infinity letters makes them not match the other letters that are infinity letters. Like some are super standard. Like you can do an infinity A super easy. It's in all the business penmanship books. Everybody does them in hairline, but you can do the... That just goes to there. Super simple. But if this was with a bunch of other, like, you couldn't have this A on an alphabet page mixed with this J. It just looks silly. So you then have to design all of the letters. This is what my brain is telling me I have to do. I have to do all of them and then find the most complicated, involved ones that I can't make simpler, and then complicate the other ones so they match, so that everything looks like it fits in, like it belongs. Because you can't make all the letters simple like this. Many of ornamental penmanship capitals, just, you can't do it. They're too complicated on their own. I'm actually quite a little surprised I got that A looking so close. Trying to think of how I can make this M. I mean, I guess it could go something like... It could be that, a line going up into there. I don't know if I like that, but that would make it an infinity letter. But again, like the J, it doesn't have a way to start. So you get that little bit of luck that comes into play. Unless you started here, which is the weirdest place to start an M. I'm gonna try. Yep. The only way to do it is to make them all complicated. Which is quite a bit of work to make them all look good. Can I do an M even that way? I mean, I don't see why not, I guess. Let's see what happens. I mean, I missed, but that's the idea. That's an ugly one, but that means it's doable at least. It's a little better, still wonky, but I don't know if I like the finished design of it. I've done an infinity M before, and I don't know what I did. What if I did my standard oval entry? Oh no, because then that creates a crummy space right there. Yeah, see? Certain letters, they're no fun. They just don't work well. Oh, we got some latecomers voting on the walnut. Walnut is climbing even higher. I could end that poll, but I just want to keep it going. We'll see what happens at the end of the stream, how high it goes. We'll see. But, liking the walnut vibes tonight, I'm cool with it. What did you vote for, Odra Swinney? I kind of anticipated more gold votes. Or white votes. I thought people liked white and gold more. I guess maybe I talk about walnut so much. Maybe I've made people biased for walnut. That's supposed to be a flower. It doesn't really look like a flower. My issue with black paper is it's more expensive. It's thicker. I feel something just in my... When paper's thin, I don't feel as bad when I go through a lot of it. But when I go through like a chunk of black paper, it's like a chunk of black paper because it's... Even if it's a little bit thicker, it's thicker. So it doesn't feel like it's just like waste paper. This isn't waste paper, it's good and expensive paper, but until I find a better practice paper that's cheap. Well, not cheap, but just cost effective. I know there's the printer paper that they use at my buddy's tattoo shop in Berlin, at Scriptorium Berlin. They're just like regular cheap copy paper. It's cheap, it's like see-through-ish, it's thin, but it takes some inks really well, so it works really good. Yep, if I brainwash the world into using walnut more for practice, I'm okay with that. The walnut cult. Hey, take it easy, slow down. No cult. Ah. They call me the Walnut One. The Walnut One. Yes, that was my name. Says Gandalf the Grey. Or the White. Another t-shirt quote. We'll add it to the list. Ooh! I'll pause writing here real quick to show... Where is it? Is it in my scanner? It is. So, it's not done yet, but I've revisited the slacker table shirt that I wear. It has the same idea, the same premise, the same basic style, but I am revamping it so that I like the balance a little bit better and it works a little more like how I design things today. So, t-shirt design number 1 that we've been talking about for months and months and months is in the works. And it will be in Mataraz's Batwing script, like the shirt that I wear all the time. That'll be the first one that is released, the slacker table shirt. But if you're gonna own a slacker table shirt, you have to practice with the slacker table mentality. It's very important. It's a way of life. Oh, you don't like my paper clips? I like my paper clips. Whoa, that's a weird O. I don't like that. Let's pretend that never happened. The Walnut One. Perfect example of 3 capital letters that don't go together at all, which is why choosing your flourishes is very important. The Batwing script is pretty cool. I gotta sift. I need to go through. I have some examples of it, or quite a few, but I've found some more recently in the Business Educator, and I gotta go through and screenshot or cut little snippets of them, because there's no full alphabet, so some of the letters you just have to kind of assume. I have to pretend, what would Mataraz do in this situation, and be Mataraz. I like my black paper clips. The only thing that I dislike about the black paper clips, if I could custom design a paper clip, and I want to one day, to make a paper clip for myself, basically. But the problem with black paper clips is that when the center is, well, they're even, right? Like they're symmetrical. I want to have one where this is flat. So like when I'm not making any sense. When I clip something, I want the paper to sit along one of these sides rather than in the middle, if that makes any sense. Sorry, that's crazy out of focus. I want the paper to sit along the side instead of in the middle, because then this top corner would not be raised. It would stay flat with the table. And you can do that with, do I have one here? Oh, where is it? So I have some magnet paper clips that I made that are essentially two magnet bars that have a thin hinge in the middle, so they close. And they're very thin magnets, so they keep the paper really close to the table. But they're fiddly to open and close. What I like about these is they're very easy to clip and unclip, and they're just good. But I really want the paper to be flat, so I need to like low profile this one side, so this little loop is flattened and everything sits flat, and then this bend in the middle needs to be in such a way that the paper sits flat on a bottom. I don't know how to make it happen, but that's what I want. I don't want the whole thing to be flat though. Like I still want it to be spread apart. Because regular, like I know the metal flat ones that slide in, I mean there's nothing wrong with them, but they don't hold tight enough, because when they're flat, it's just the springiness of the metal that's holding it, whereas this is a really firm hold, so it doesn't move as much. It's a silly thing, it's not a big issue at all, but if I could have the perfect paperclip, I'm pretty sure that's what it would look like. I have boxes of different shaped paperclips. I've experimented. I know people sell magnet ones and I've used them and they're cool, but I just always go back to these ones because I like how strong they hold and how easy they are to move. I just like them better. So I want to improve these ones somehow. I'm gonna quit penmanship and become a paperclip connoisseur. What was that? It's a big thing. It's a pretty big industry. Why couldn't I have just smoothed that out? Paperclip. Yeah, I mean, I don't think most people like them for holding writing paper because they lift up that top corner. But I'm a weirdo and I like them for that. Sounds good, John. I'm a paperclip snob. Whoops. Nib snap. Wooden ones? I've never used a wooden paperclip. I like the idea that if you do a row of capital I's backwards, you can do an infinity drill. If you go... They always get messed up after the first one, but... And you can keep going and do capital I's, but you go right to left instead of left to right. What up, Rose? Welcome. How's your quote coming along, Rose? It's smudgy. Why is it smudgy? You write everything else with a dip pen. All your practice. Ooh. I need to do some drill exercises this week. There's a good chance that I will be jumping into the live study room on the Discord, hopefully at least a couple times this week, to do some actual practice. It's hard to consider live streaming actual practice because my focus is on so many different things. Oh, don't think like that, Rose. Not too ambitious. The perfect amount of ambitiousness. Now you just gotta do it. You bite off more than you can chew, you just gotta chew. What time? Yeah, I don't know. My practice sessions aren't going to be scheduled. They're just going to be when I'm deciding, when I finish another project. I have a few projects I have to do since I've been out of town. I gotta catch up on some things. Once I get those projects done, if I get the urge to practice, oh, you could, technically, I could do the J like this. And hit that to go to there. That could work, potentially. Like that. That works. It's kind of a neat variation. I mean, what I do on streaming is a form of practice. It's just different. This is me usually just playing around and experimenting. But the actual real practice is... It's not as exciting to watch because it's just doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Until I do it right, basically. Or you practice it enough so that 9 times out of 10 you do it right. That's the way you're supposed to do it. By the book. Just the same thing over and over again. But that's not very exciting. For a live stream, what is happening? I'm getting nib snaps way too often here. What's going on, Mr. Nib? Let's check you out. Thought so. That should be better. One fun little tidbit or thing to consider: when you put your nib in your flange, also know that the nib can sit in different places in your flange, and that changes the rotation of the nib. So if your grip doesn't change, it will create snaps if it's one way or the other way. So make sure that you're always putting the nib in the same place in your flange, basically, if you want to get always the proper similar results. I was talking to Mr. Nib. Yes. Some days Mr. Nib does not want to behave, but usually he plays nice. Sometimes, anyways. Except I just got a nib snap on the first stroke. Whoa, ugly V's. How do you make sure weight distribution is the same on both? Like on both tines, you mean? I mean, it's really... I don't know what the closed die method... Oh, I don't know what the closed die method is. Is that something I've made up and am forgetting? Whoa, my upstrokes are just not very good. I mean, the main thing is if your tine is aligned, if your nib is aligned properly, or like if your tines are straight and hitting the same point, then if your nib is always perfectly up, the problem is most people when they write, everybody sort of has a natural angle that they hold their pen at. Even if it's a round flange or a round pen like this, you can hold it any way, but people will sort of always default to one thing. Like for me, this will be my default, which I would prefer to hold it a little bit more like this. For this particular flange adjustment, I would like it to be slightly more up this way. But the main thing is just that your nib is flat, so it's not rotated one way to the right or to the left. You just have to make sure, and just by looking at it, you look down the nib and you make sure that it's flat. And if it's flat, then you're good to go. And then the key then, when you're doing your writing, you don't rotate at all. You keep the pen, the nib, flat. And then both of your tines should be hitting the paper the same amount until you're pressing down into the page. Then you can push one out one direction or another out another direction or whatnot, which is what's considered, or what I call tine manipulation. For things like when we do the J, when we do the descender of the J, and we bubble out the right side more than the left side, that's tine manipulation. That's because we rely on habit too much, Hoagie. We can't rely on habit. It's one of the risks of like some ergonomic holders, because they force your hand into a specific position. So if the flange, it's sort of can be a good thing or it can be a really bad thing. If the flange isn't set up in such a way that works really good for you, then you're going to have a tough time having your nib flat, because your holder is always going to be forcing your nib to a different direction. Unless the flange is aligned perfectly for how you hold that pen, then you're good to go. Close your eyes. I mean, a lot of that's interesting. I've never heard or done that before. Because if your nib is flat, they're always going to open the same. Can you feel that? I could be mistaken, but I feel like that has more to do with how far, with the nib aligning with the center of your holder. That makes sense to me. Because it'll rotate, it'll push, your weight won't be centered, and that's why we have the point be in the middle. But I mean, the perceptive feeling that's required, I'm probably not fully understanding, but that's a little too specific for me. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Weight distribution has to be centered, but I feel like trying to feel what's going out more versus, I mean, you can tell when a nib isn't flat. You just make your nib flat, and your tines will always be flat. If your nib is tilted to the left, then your left tine is going to wear out more. If it's tilted to the right, then your right tine is going to wear out more. So you just use it flat. And you modify the flange so that the way you hold the pen always makes the nib sit flat with your grip. And then you don't really have to worry about it. Have you ever done that, James? Closed your eyes? I genuinely, if I'm assuming there's an article or video or Instagram or something where people talk about it, I've never seen or heard about it. Long nails definitely affects grip. That's why, I think that's why Chin's grip is so unique. There we go. Maybe that's what it is. So maybe that... Is that an engrosser script thing to think about? But it's still like, I don't see why I don't have to close my eyes to see that my nib is flat to do all the engrosser script shapes. But if it works for people, then it's probably cool. Yeah, the key with that, Aravind, is like if you're testing out new grips, specifically when you're modifying flanges to accommodate different grips, it's impossible to know if a grip is good or not without trying it for a while. Like you can't just try it and think, oh, that feels weird, and then try something else. Even if it ends up being not a good change, and this is why I'll adopt a grip, modify a flange, and try it for a while, and then if I find that I don't like its benefits or whatnot, then I'll stop. But you don't know until you actually get used to that, and that takes a long time. Well, I mean, the way my flange adjustments, I feel like, are different than a lot of people's as well. When I look at a lot of pens, that even like a lot of vintage pens and a lot of the pens that makers are making today, to my brain, they all look like they're designed and set up for engrosser script or copperplate. This angle, the rotation, to get a good angle for the way I am comfortable writing ornamental penmanship, I have to like bend and twist the flanges on all pens, no matter who makes them, and it's interesting. I couldn't have long nails. I keep my thumbnails ever so slightly, that's about as long as they get. I keep my thumbnails a little bit longer than the rest of my nails, just so I can play the kalimba nicely. But that's it. The other nails get trimmed. They're long now. I have to trim them. I'm overdue for a trim. Well, that's fun, James. This is too wide. I have to bring this that way. I didn't say it was long, it's just longer than if I cut them all the way to flat. To flat, all the way, trim them all the way down. I know it's not actually long. I don't know that I've ever seen Goth James before. Whoa, that's not a very pretty business penmanship, M. That works. A stylistic choice. Ooh, I need consistency. Do I use brush pens? Not really. I have brush pens. Some. What do I got for brush pens? Pretty sure I have a jar of brush pens in here. Somewhere. Jar of brush pens. Are those brush pens? Where are they? Are these brush pens? No, where are my brush pens? I do have a bunch of them. But I don't know where they are. There's a couple in here, but I don't know that they're really good ones. The only time I went through a very... Hey, Fozzie's here. What's going on, Fozzie? The only time I used brush pens a little bit, I was having fun controlling pressure, getting like hairline strokes, trying to keep a stroke always the exact same thin hairline, and then only applying the weight. Whoa, yeah, I can't control a brush pen at all. Not a brush pen calligrapher am I. But it's fascinating, the idea of doing a stroke and having it just be a very thin line versus the brush, but stems never look good. This isn't a good brush pen, but stems never look good with a brush pen, so I never end up using them. Because you can get like, yeah, they just don't look good. It ends up looking like modern calligraphy if I just do... Ugh. I mean, no. To answer your question, I don't use brush pens. They have a purpose. I have water brush pens that I use for watercolor stuff. But I've never properly learned how to use them. There's gotta be, maybe that was just a bad one. I have a bunch of good brush pens somewhere. But where are they? Like, I have all my water ones, but they just have water in them. Where are the good ones? The fact that they're not in this drawer, tells you I don't use them ever. Now I'm curious though, because they exist somewhere. Ugh. But where? I found brushes, not brush pens. I know I gave a bunch away to my artist friend in LA when I moved, because I don't use them. What? Maybe I don't have any. They are lost. Yeah, I have a Pentel Touch somewhere, but I don't use them. What I like about ornamental penmanship doesn't translate to with a brush pen that well. I did, like I said, I had fun for a while. I think it was Barbara Calzolari was talking about using it to control hairline and stuff. And it was a neat exercise, using it so, because you can see with a good one, with a good brush, you can tell when you're using like one hair versus when you accidentally, when your depth changes depending on when you go farther away. So it's a little, it's easier to see your variation in depth. That's probably not the right word, but your variations then with a nib, because a nib is stronger and more resilient. writing out of frame, sorry. That makes sense, Fozzie. Can you make a P that also is a B? Have I done this before? Maybe I've done this before. PB. Peanut butter jelly. PBJ. There's got to be a better way to do that B though. To get that spiral looking nicer. Just PJ? What is just PJ? Pajamas? PJ. PJ. Nope, that was a bad idea, that last part. Experimentation doesn't work all the time. My hand is all over the place today. That's alright, Fozzie. That's more important, obviously. Oh, excuse me. Thank you very much, Aravind. I almost didn't do a stream today because I was extremely worn out. I was very tired. Can I do a twister? I mean, I can do twisters. I've done them in the past. I don't know if I have many of Michael Sull's twisters that you've just learned in his class memorized, but that was the inspiration for when I did the Bob Ross quote the other day for that tea, was because I saw so many people posting twisters, so I decided to do that one. Which is one of Courtney's twister teas, I believe. We've done Michael Sull's O twisters so many times during these live streams. Level 9O again. I don't even remember how it goes. I gotta go into my messages with Fozzie because she sent it to me. Because I do not remember what it looks like. I mean, I remember the gist, I just don't remember the breakdown. Let's go look at my direct messages with Fozzie. Unless somebody wants to post one in the Discord, then I can check it out there. Go scroll up into my chats with Fozzie and see if I can see the O. Oh, there it is. So this is the one you're referring to. And we did it once, and we did it quite well. I think it was during Blacklight that we did it. Alright. First, let's figure out this path here. We have our entry. 1, 2, that's beside that one. Then we go all the way to the outside. So that's the one that has to decide how big the entire letter is going to be. And then from there, we just spiral, right? I think from there, these ones just spiral normally. Yeah, and then we end under the baseline. Okay. 1, 2, out. 1, 2, around, and then spiral in. Alright. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, they're kind of doozies. They don't really read as O's. They just sort of read as, they don't always read as O's. They're kind of fun, just spiral exercises though. They're fun little puzzles. See if I can remember. I'll have to dip quickly so I get a lot of ink. Let's just walk through one quickly. Or slowly, I mean, but first. So we have our 1. Then we go close to it. And then we go all the way to the outside. Oh, I brought that too far down, I'm pretty sure. And then from there we just... Nope, I messed up. Yeah, shoot. This one's supposed to come in here. And then from there we just spiral around all this stuff to fill in the space, keeping the angle, and finishing below the baseline. Okay. Haha. Hello, hello. Between lectures? Just chatting about stuff. Oh, you're between lectures. I get it. Nice. Thank you for joining us in your time between lectures. Typophobia. Alright. One more time. Slowly so we get the idea of what's going on. First one. Then we tuck in close. Then we go to the outside. And then we just spiral from there as many times as can fit. I finished some of the baseline, okay. Now let's make one look pretty. If we can, see if my brain can remember all those little things. Can I do this with forearm movement? I want to try to do it small enough that I don't have to go to whole arm movement. Oh, that last stroke. That one was going to be not too shabby. But I cut it too close. Darn it. Get the glide sheet so I can write close to the left side. Well, that was a worthy first attempt, I suppose. Oh, I gave myself too much space. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 5. How many was this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many is his? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got 7? Dang. That's hard with movement writing to keep it that close. Without making it super huge, but I don't want to make a huge one. I want it to be small. I went the wrong way. Yeah, but if I make the shades thinner, then it doesn't look cool. Oh, patience. Did you just resub, James? It takes about it takes some time. It takes like a couple minutes. I don't know how long it takes. But I heard a noise, and if that was you subbing, then we should see the bunny in about a minute or two. Maybe. There it is. Yeah, I don't know why Stream Elements is so slow, because oh, that was Rose subscribed again. I like that everybody's just unsubscribing and subscribing to watch the Dizzy Bunny. I now have an alert. When that comes up, I have a list of all the people, the subscriptions that like the notifications that come in that way. And it's funny, I feel like it must be YouTube that makes it not instant. It's interesting. It's the same platform, or the same alert. You either use Streamlabs or Stream Elements, most people. So it's weird that there's a delay. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 7. But it's ugly. We have to make that look nicer. I think I have to go bigger. I don't want to go bigger though, because... Okay, let's just do it. I'm gonna have to turn my paper a little bit. Jeez. I just don't have good spirals today. My arm isn't very controlled. Okay. It's gonna take some time for the notification to come in, but who unsubscribed and subscribed again? I know somebody did it. There is a sound that I hear that I don't know if you guys hear. Unless, did you hear that sound 2 seconds ago? Or is that just me that hears that? The not the ba-la-la-la-la one. Okay, you guys can see, and that sound, I don't understand why that sound's happening. It shouldn't be happening anymore, but it comes in so much quicker than the other one, and that's confusing to me. I'll Google it after the stream, figure out why there's a delay. Blah. They're not fun when they're that big and out of control. They just don't look good in my opinion. They need to be controlled. But I don't think I can do a small controlled 7. Nope. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I never know what I'm doing. Ugh. Not gonna happen today, folks. My hand's not... There it is. Albert Genza? Albert Genzen has subscribed. Just go watch the O live stream. We did it, and we did a better job of it. My hand's not in a good enough mood for it today, unfortunately. I think this is... Maybe we'll see how things go, but I feel like this might be my last sheet of paper for the night. I am tired today, and obviously my arm isn't feeling like writing too much. What somebody did say in the chat, an infinity OP the other day. April 6th past midnight. Wow. I like that Oja Swinny's got the... She's got the schedule on lock. I keep forgetting to go through my old streams and doing the timestamps for random stuff that we talked about and random stuff that we did. Oh, I used the wrong baseline. Whoops. I guess that's true. I guess that's valid. That's why we did it. We'll do another half a bird. Just for fun. I don't feel like finishing it. For A, I mean the easiest way to twister an A is if you do the style of A with a compound curve entry. Then you could do to get something like that. A bird up there. So there's that. I've never really twisted the other variation of the A. I mean, you could do. I mean, doing a twister for the ending of the standard variation of an A, you could do, but not really in the beginning. I don't know, like you can do flourishes and stuff around it, or you can enter it with a spiral, I guess, a little bit. But it ends up getting pretty messy. I would turn, as far as creating an actual twister, I would do that with the other variation of the A. I wonder, could I do the big turn first, just to change it up a bit? Would that work? I mean, that works, but it's kind of weird. Like so. It might, James, it might. It had that repetitive beat. If you don't like a song, you guys could just tell me and I could change it. That is possible. I have that power. Man, and if you wanted to go even crazy fancier, you could start with like... This might not work, but we'll see what happens. That was supposed to be a regular oval, but if this would have stayed horizontal. Anything that has a stem, you can pretty much turn into a twister pretty easily. Like I think they work best with a compound curve entry, but if you do them with a horizontal entry as well, you can get some pretty cool letters. Like that. Oh, I keep writing out of frame, sorry. But you can get some interesting twister stuff going on. S's are easy to spiral or to twisterize, so long as you can get a good compound. The thing you have to remember with an S, so when you go into the A, your downstroke is based on your slant line, but with an S you have to take that more vertical, so your twist is going to end up being more abrupt, which is what kind of makes it possible, if you do it right, to get the spiral on an S to be more horizontal, because you get that twist right at the bottom. If you were to do, let's say, like that. This sounds so naughty. Well, yeah, that's one of the bonus things. I mean, when you are doing, if you're doing slower Spencerian, when you're going, you can really control the taper, and you can, like if you were doing an O, not like a 7 or whatever, but if you're going, you can really control how much you want to be shaded. Like how long you want the shade to be and things like that. Gonna run out of ink. Whoa. Oh, I ruined it. But you can control and whatever. And you can do that with movement writing if you're having a nice writing day. I mean, that's only 8. That's 8. I messed up the 7th, the 6th one. I brought it too far out, so it wasn't space for the 8th one. But you can control that shade. It's just like, I mean, those are the benefits when you're doing slower Spencerian. You can control, like when you do an S, it's a lot easier to control your shade placement. You can change things up on the fly without really thinking about it as much. If you want, like, you can do weird things that you wouldn't necessarily do with movement writing, because the natural muscle movements don't come as much into play. But you sacrifice your hairline, so you make your choices. I don't write slowly very often anymore, but I did for a lot of years. And I still enjoy doing it because you can do ridiculous things. You can get much more experimental. Yeah. It would have been cool if it went... If you did it... So here, if I did just a purely spiraled O, meaning I didn't do the second shade or the third shade all the way out, you would get a nice ombre, actually. And you could do it. It would look beautiful in movement writing. Maybe I'll try this in a sec. But if we were to do like... Oh, I'm not running out of ink fast enough to get the ombre effect. Oh, lame. No good. But you also see what happens when you use like a Leonard principle or something, and you're doing these type of writing. Because you can see very clearly, I'm using my fingers, not my arm to do the writing. When I get into this upstroke, these are my fingers, so it's very hard to keep that level, which is why you opt for something like a Leonard principle, or not something like a Nico G or something. So you can do the shades, but you're not going to run the risk of the upstroke snapping nearly as often because you're using finger and hand writing. But we should be able to do a spiraled O with movement writing. I don't think I can do it today on that angle though. If I angle my paper, sorry, I'm off angle for you guys, but I'll rotate it when it's done. We'll see how this goes. Ugh. It's just not good spirals today. Nope. No more fast spirals today. They just don't look good. Today is Spiral O Day. Nope. April 6th was Spiral O Day. We got some good ones that day. My arm doesn't feel comfortable spiraling today. My writing is fighting me. He does indeed. It's true. A's or I sorries are fun ones because you can spiral them this way. You can spiral the exit strokes. Or you can spiral the shaded strokes. That then turn into, the spiraled exit strokes. Thanks a lot for hanging out, Hody. We'll see you next week. Yep, he's got his mugs in his cap. It's true. That's what he told me that when I was first learning to design signatures. He doesn't like any empty space if it can be avoided. Whoops, that was not a very good S. No empty space allowed. Mike is sleepy. Horrible ovals, but we'll do that anyways. Mike is sleepy. Oh yeah, how did the vote end up? 47 walnut, 22 white, and 31 gold. 36 total votes. I mean, Nico G's are tough. If you're not using Iron Gall ink, Nico G's they'll last you like forever. If you're practicing just with walnut, you can use a Nico G for years and be good. They're pretty tough. I used a Nico G with Iron Gall ink for a year, and it was extremely scratchy at the end, or by the end, because I never realized that they were supposed to be disposable. We could do gold next week. I think I want to do a theme next week. I'm gonna do something where I post on Instagram or whatnot and get things to write, or I don't know, maybe we'll do another poem or story. I want to do something. We've done quite a few weeks now of just sort of random writing, which I really enjoy. But I feel like I want to do some kind of a theme, or like foiling, or I don't know. I want to do something, a theme episode. We could do songs. We could do song lyrics. Problem is, songs are so long. They take a lot of time. That's the thing with foiling too. Foiling is slow and it takes quite a while. But those are things that I would be into doing. So I'll think on it, and hopefully next week we will do addressing. Oh, for like envelopes. We could do that. Addressing. Huh. Doing that, would I have people submit addresses, or would we just make up fake addresses? What was your first hint, Ojaswini? I'm sleepy. Not that I want to say goodnight. I have a few things, as always, that I gotta do before I go to bed. And I'm a little worn out. My arm isn't in a super writing mood today. My shoulder's a little sore for some reason. But I like the idea of addressing. We could replicate some of the old envelopes. I have a scanned scrapbook of a bunch of old envelopes from the American Penman. We could look through some of those. That's basically signature writing, a lot of those. But we could do some addressing. I like that idea. You've done... I mean, call it early. Technically, it's still... I mean, it's 3 hours. It's not... I wondered if I would make it to like 10 today, or if I'd cut it off pretty early, but James likes that idea. All right, maybe we'll do that. Sweet. If I do that, I will post on the Discord, and you can submit if there are specific envelopes you want to replicate, James. You can load up the Discord and post it there so that I know the ones and so that everybody knows the ones we're going to be replicating. Oh, 2 hours, not 3 hours, right? 9 to 10, 10 to 11. Right. 2 hours and 7 minutes. All right, and on that note, 2 hours is all I got in me. Sorry for calling it early, but I'm lame today. Thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. I do hope that you have an amazing rest of your evening or day or morning or whatever time it is for you. And I will see you guys next week with a theme. We will have a theme next week, and I will look into this delay on my Stream Elements posts and figure out if we can get that down to less than how long it is. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process. And don't forget that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Bye, everyone.